Three, two, one.
You ready?
You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. This is The Real Pineapple. This is your humble host, Hunter. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Sorry this review's up a little late. I was feeling a little under the weather the last couple days, but got a review here for you guys for yesterday. So by the time you hear this, I'm assuming you'll be listening to this on a Friday. We'll have a review up for Spider-Man Far From Home by Monday morning. Probably be Sunday, but just to give myself a day, just in case. We'll have that review up for you guys on Monday as well. So, I'm going to make this kind of quick, because to be honest, I don't have a whole lot to say about this film. We're talking about Yesterday, which is directed by Danny Boyle, who, of course, the way they're marketing this, of course, directed Slumdog Millionaire, and 28 Days Later, Trainspotting, The Beach, which is not that good, but Danny Boyle, he really is a hell of an actor. He did Steve Jobs, which is one of my favorite movies in the last decade. I love Steve Jobs. Also did Battle of the Sexes. I forgot he did that. Okay, huh. Oh, he did Trans. Huh, okay. I do like a lot of Danny Boyle stuff. Here's the thing about this movie. This is not Danny Boyle's script. And I will just say that's very quickly apparent that it's not his script. Richard Curtis is the person who wrote this movie. He went ahead and has written Love Actually, of course, that's his big one. Bridget Jones's Diary. There we go. War Horse, which Richard Curtis has done a lot of stuff I'm not a fan of. He did Notting Hill, which I think is okay. I think the best movie he's actually written is this movie that you probably haven't seen, which is this movie called Pirate Radio, which if you have not seen Pirate Radio, oh my god, please watch Pirate Radio. I think it's an absolute blast of a movie. But there's stuff to like here. I know that I'll probably fall maybe more into the middle ground, because I'm hearing some people who just really love this and some people who are just like, I hate this sucks, and I kind of fall somewhere in the middle. So Himesh Patel, he was on this I believe this BBC show called EastEnders, which I haven't seen, but this is his really big movie debut, and he's in a starring role. So much of this movie falls on him, and I will say, especially for being a first-time actor as far as starring in a movie, I thought he did a way better job than I was expecting. So he plays Jack Malik, and he is your typical struggling singer/songwriter. He has been at this for a while. I believe they say it's been about a decade. He's grown up in England, where he's managed by Ellie, who's played by Lily James. If you don't know who Lily James is, she's one of my... I have so much... Like, first off, Lily James, I think she's like a modern-day Audrey Hepburn. Like, she just has this very cute... this cute aspect, this cute aura to her. And everything I see her in, whether it's Cinderella, whether it's Darkest Hour, whether it's a Baby Driver, whether it's Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, which I was not crazy about if you listen to that review. But she just has this very natural presence about her in their relationship as far as their chemistry. That's the best thing about this movie, is their chemistry. So she's been his manager. They've been childhood friends. I believe they say they've known each other for about, I believe they say like 17 years, because they met each other back in high school. So Jack is just kind of over it. He's sick of people not showing up to his shows. He's playing coffee shops, hole-in-the-wall bars, stuff like that. And And to be honest, and the movie doesn't really. He kind of says it, but no one else calls him out on it. He's just very lackadaisical. It just seems like he doesn't give a shit. Like he feels like he's above this. And I think the thing that kind of frustrated me, I mean, if you've listened to the podcast for any sort of length of time, first off, thank you. Second, though, I mean, I've been at this podcast. We've been at it for, about 5 years. I mean, and I did some other podcast stuff, a year or so before that. So I've been doing this for, 7 years, and we've slowly built up our audience. We're getting feedback from you guys, which we love. So I was really irritated that the movie didn't kind of talk about the artistic grind more. He really felt like he was more entitled to his fame, and that really drives me nuts. I really actually hate that fucking message of, oh yeah, this is going to be easy, or it really came across that way. So when he's kind of getting upset at Ellie at points where she's saying, hey, you can do this, you can keep getting better, and he just pretty much goes, I quit, I'm done. That was a tough pill to swallow, and that's about 10 minutes in. So he ends up getting hit by a bus in a pretty freaky scene, to be completely honest, because I have a big thing with my teeth. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever woken up and, when you're still waking up, you kind of feel around your teeth and you feel like one might be missing, or you're kind of like, oh God. He takes a header face first into the pavement because he's riding his bike home, and all the lights in the world, all the electricity goes out. I believe they say for 12 seconds. So this bus hits him. He goes face first into the concrete, loses 2 of his teeth. He remarks later on that he looks like a reverse rabbit, which is one of the hardest laughs I got in the whole movie. But that's the catalyst for what becomes his journey, because in that 12 seconds, everyone forgets about the Beatles, basically. Almost everyone forgets that the Beatles existed. So Jack has this whole plethora of a song catalog or music catalog that he can pull from that no one else knows isn't his. And so I thought what was kind of what was frustrating is that they do play up the whole concept of, if you're an artist, what would you do? Like, having that sort of knowledge of, hey, the Beatles, one of the best groups ever. And I'll just say too, I'm not a huge Beatles fan. I know some of you are probably grabbing your chest right now, but I've never been a huge Beatles fan. But after watching this movie, I did go through and download some Beatles songs. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna bust out some Beatles today. But what is frustrating about this is that for such a monumental thing to happen, it still feels so small scale. I really just didn't feel like it got to the heart of the emotional crux of what this movie should have been, which is, if you're an artist, how do you live with the concept that you're stealing another artist's work, even if no one else really knows that you're doing it? Like, could you live with that? That grind? Could you live with that on your conscience? And I think what's frustrating about this is that the movie dips its toe in that concept. It kind of goes, well, yeah, he feels kind of bad about it. But then it's not like he stays in London. He goes off to LA. He ends up opening for Ed Sheeran, who hears one of his songs and comes and visits him at his parents' house, which I will say, Ed Sheeran in this, outside of the relationship, as far as the chemistry between Jack and Ellie, Ed Sheeran was my favorite part in this. I know I've heard that, I haven't seen him on Game of Thrones. I heard he's not the best actor, but he's playing just a real dickhead version of himself. And one of the other hardest laughs I got in this movie is there's a point where I think it's Jack calls him, and Ed Sheeran has his own song, "Shape of You," as his ringtone. That made me laugh so hard. I was like, "Oh, you're such a prick." But the thing about this movie is that there are some really great song performances here, which I really did appreciate. I think when it comes to this movie that there's a lot here to enjoy, or there's a decent amount to enjoy. One of the jokes they keep coming back to, which really had me laughing, the fact that other things have disappeared. So they take a shot at Oasis, which I just went, oh, that's mean. So he goes home, Googles the Beatles. Of course, can't find the Beatles. It just keeps pulling up the bug. But then he Googles Oasis Wonderwall, and he can't find anything. And he goes, oh, that seems about right. That made me laugh really, really hard. And for full perspective on it, they flash back to Jack as a kid back in 2004, and he actually had performed Wonderwall, which is where Ellie went ahead and really started crushing on him. There's no Coca-Cola either in this world, which I was like, oh, that's pretty shitty. No cigarettes, which I'd be fine with. If they had said weed, I'd been like, this is terrible. And then there's also no Harry Potter, which that made me clutch my chest. I was like, oh no Harry Potter, what the hell? But it's a really good joke, and they spread that joke out of other stuff not existing in the world. They do a good job of giving it room to breathe. They don't just keep hammering it home, which they very easily could have. So I give the film a lot of credit for that. As far as the song performances, I don't know if he learned guitar or learned to sing for this, or if he was doing it before. But yeah, Himesh Patel, he's a pretty good singer, and I think what's great about this too is that he's playing these Beatles songs, but he's not good at playing every one, because if you go through and listen to the Beatles, they have such varying styles as far as the type of songs and like the tempo. And if you were just writing these songs based on what you'd heard on the radio or heard on your Spotify or whatever, and then going out and playing them, you would by default not want to make the song your own. You'd want to go ahead and kind of play it like the Beatles played it. So it was really interesting to see him, screw up certain songs and then kind of be stronger on other ones. So I actually really did appreciate that. Let me talk about Kate McKinnon, because she will probably be a big linchpin for a lot of people. I like Kate McKinnon on SNL. I think she's brilliant on there. But man, so much of her outside of SNL, I am just not a fan of her. I mean, whether it's Ghostbusters, I thought she was okay in that. She was in that movie Masterminds, which I thought was just fucking terrible. She doesn't play. Oh yeah, she was in Rough Night too, and I did not like her in that either. She just. And someone asked me why I'm not a fan of her as far as an actress. She plays caricatures. That's the big thing. I that's my big reason for not liking her. I never feel like she's playing a character. I feel like the director or whoever pretty much just goes, hey, do that thing you do. Kind of like the trap that I thought Ken Jeong was falling into there for a little bit, where it's like, your name, you make these faces and you get loud, like just go out and do your shtick. It's not about the character that I've written here on the page for you to go ahead and actually portray. And that really shines through here, because there is that point, of course, where Jack and Ellie, end up separated because Jack becomes this huge musical sensation because, why wouldn't he be playing fucking Beatles songs? And Ellie is just, I'll come back to that. But there's a point where they get separated. Jack leaves London, goes to LA, and Deborah is Kate McKinnon's character. She's the one going ahead and managing his career moving forward. What's frustrating is that Kate McKinnon, Deborah, she is just taking shots at this dude constantly. And not even like a hey, we're buddy sort of way. In a way that, hey, I'm going to go ahead and milk you for all your talent, and you're going to make me a bunch of money. But the thing is, Deborah even says that, do you want to be the biggest musical artist in the world? So if you know someone has that potential, the concept that you'd be such a bitch to them, that's a really tough pill for me to swallow and go, oh yeah, this makes sense. And she's not even being, snarky. She's just being just really quite a bitch. And that's where we get into my biggest problem with this movie. Because I think the first 45 minutes to an hour is actually pretty good. Where it really starts to crumble, though, is with the romantic part of it. The romantic dramedy, which I think is what you would definitely define this as. That part really falls apart, and it gets very heavy-handed, and it's really frustrating to watch. So, two more people I'm just going to shout out here, and I'm going to butcher your names, guys. I'm so sorry. Mira Sayal, I'm going to say, who played his mom, Sheila Malik, and then Shaviv. Oh man, I'm going to butcher this. I'm so sorry. Sanjeev Hashkar, I'm going to go with. He plays his dad. He played Jed Malik. His parents were so absolutely delightful and so much fun. There's a scene later in the movie when Jack's gonna kind of have one of his like an album release concert, and the dad Jed, basically he's like, "Oh son, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud." And he's like, "Oh, thanks, Dad." And he goes, "Well, so just curious, are you gonna eat those tuna sandwiches you have over there?" Like, that made me laugh really hard. I was like, "Oh, that's great," and it was cute. I think the other thing is too that's interesting is that Jed and Sheila, when Jack hits this, just hits this level of fame so quickly, they've known him, obviously his whole life, but they knew him when he was, shitty at this. So I'm sure they've been through the speech 100 times of, oh yeah, this is my new song, and he's just like, they're like, all right, cool, whatever, we don't care. It was really funny that was that's kind of an ongoing joke, and there's a scene where Jack is trying to play Let It Be, or not Let It Be. Oh god, I want to say it's Let It Be. Yeah, it's Let It Be. He's trying to play Let It Be for him for the first time on this piano, and like his cell phone rings, and then like their friend comes in, and all these little interruptions that were actually really funny. So the first hour had me laughing. It really is that second half where it falls apart. So Jack, of course, is out in LA, and the relationship between him and Deborah, there's just nothing there. It's very hollow. There are some supernatural elements that are kind of introduced, because what's weird is that there's never a point where they explain why anyone doesn't know who the Beatles are, and he's the only one. The lights kind of just going out. I was like, that's a little weird. Okay. There are some really cool references to the Beatles. There's a point where Jack goes to Liverpool to go ahead and get inspired. There's a very blatant tease of seeing McCartney and Ringo on the Late Late Show during this flashback sequence with James Corden. And can I just say too, James Corden, can you stop being in every movie? Like, why is he in so much stuff? Peter Rabbit, this shit, like, hey, why? I don't understand. Anyways, and you do get you get him trying to very much kind of play tribute to the Beatles. I mean, he's playing their songs, but he wants to go ahead, and when he meets with his record label, he throws out the suggestion of calling the album, St. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, or the White Album, and the marketing group goes, "Oh, this is all cute, but no, we're not calling it this." And the movie does bring up the concept of, hey, could the Beatles exist in this day and age? And it's a very interesting notion. Yeah, I think the Beatles would still be extremely successful, but in a very weird way, I don't know if the Beatles would get the freedom that they have. I mean, it's a very interesting notion that the movie brings up, but honestly, they don't really touch on that nearly enough. It kind of falls more into the romantic uh, aspect of the movie, which is frustrating because there's a lot of material you could touch on there. Um, I will say too, it was a little weird hearing Jack saying, "I saw her standing there," because there's of course is that lyric, she was only 17, if you know what I mean. I was like, oh, that does not age well in 2019. So that was a little awkward. That actually took me out of the movie for a minute or so. I was kind of like, okay, but what's so frustrating about this movie, as if the last 10 minutes haven't told you, is that I really was expecting a great movie, because I remember seeing the trailer and going, "Oh, okay, I'm excited for this," and and this is admittedly kind of unfair depending on how you look at it, but I think it's completely just comparison. Rocket Man just came out 4 or 5 weeks ago, and that is very much in that same vein of something like Across the Universe, which, by the way, is a way better Beatles movie. Like, if you need to watch a Beatles movie, watch Across the Universe, like, before you watch this. But Rocket Man being, kind of that pseudo musical slash, biopic, it works on both levels, shockingly. As a Beatles movie, this only kind of works, and as a romantic dramedy, I thought the dramedy at the back half was just just ass, to be completely honest. So, getting to my big reason why I don't like this movie. So, Ellie, who's played by Lily James, as I mentioned, she's a school teacher, and Jack is the biggest music act in the world at the time, and so they of course have the whole the whole, well, I've loved you for years, and I'm going to tell you right now at this very inconvenient time where where we can't do anything about it. So he flat out says, like, "I'm not too big for you, come with me." And she goes, "Well, I'm a school teacher, you're this artist, like, I can't go with you." And my first thought was, why? Like, what are you leaving behind? And this is, and I know some people will twist this, and that's fine, you're dumb. But the concept that you couldn't teach anywhere stateside, like, really? Like, she could find a teaching job somewhere stateside. Plus, of all the money he's making, come on, he could take care of both of you. I think you guys would do okay. And it is really, really irritating that that's kind of their big quote fight unquote, is that they just can't make the timing work. And earlier in the movie, before Jack ends up hooking up with Deborah as far as a manager, they meet this other character who Gavin, who's played by Alexander Arnold. He I want to say it's called Tracks by the Tracks, I believe is the name of his little kind of indie production company. So he has Jack come in, he covers some song, sings the songs, they do some recording and stuff and all that, and there's this really awkward, like, cool montage, but Jack, Ellie, and Gavin are all kind of like switching out playing instruments while, Jack is playing and all that. And Gavin just makes this move and, like, kisses Ellie on the cheek, and it's a really awkward sort of transition. I was like, okay, don't do that. And so later on, when Jack is in LA, trying to get his career situated and everything, Ellie calls him, goes, "Hey, by the way, I started seeing someone." Guess who she started seeing? The guy who was really pretty instrumental in getting his career going. And so, first off, she comes across like an absolute bitch by pulling that move. One. Two, again, why didn't you just go with him? It doesn't make any sense why she just wouldn't pick up her shit and just go like, "Hey, let's do this together." Lily James also dropped one of the most egregious lines in the whole movie that just made me want to flip a desk over. I actually went out loud in the theater. Are you fucking kidding me? So there's a point where she goes, where they're having their fight, their conversation, and she goes, you're this big star now. You're this big artist. It was so much simpler. It was so much better. We were the best when I was managing you and you were playing, hole in the wall bars. So she was okay with him when she could take care of him and kind of manipulate him, because as his manager, she was not getting him good gigs. He was miserable. Which he says multiple times, that he was miserable. He wasn't happy. He wasn't enjoying doing this. But now that he's happy doing what he loves, now she wants to be an asshole about it. And that is a really terrible message. It really is the equivalent. And I hesitate to say this, but why not? If the roles were flipped and this was a female singer, and they had built like their own career, think about A Star Is Born. Actually, think about if Bradley Cooper, his character, Jackson, I want to say, think about if he had told Lady Gaga's character, "Hey, you're a female, you're making your own way, but I want you to stop and put everything aside for me." Which, by the way, he kind of does in the movie, and she goes, "Yeah, fuck off." Rightfully so, might I add. So when he doesn't do that here and goes, "Well, I'm sad, but I love you," it's like, oh, no. You don't get to do this to me. And the end of this movie, of course, ends at Wembley Stadium, because why wouldn't it? So Jack shows up to help out Ed Sheeran, who, again, at this point, is damn near the biggest villain in the movie. So Jack goes on stage, plays a couple of his songs, Beatles songs, and goes basically, "Hey everyone, this is Ellie." So he cut to camera backstage, so you see her back there, and he goes, "Oh yeah, so this is a woman I'm in love with," and then he just spills everything about how these aren't my songs, these are written by Paul McCartney, John Lennon. And I think what confused me the most is that that's such a bullshit ending, because yes, no one knows who the Beatles are, but what would have been a way better ending, and I thought about this yesterday, and I went, oh, I'm so bringing this up, if they had him come out and say, "Hey guys, I love you all so much, this is going to be my last show," and then say something like, I don't know, "Oh, I don't even have the words, to go ahead and, I don't have the words to even, express how much I love this woman." And then he starts saying, love is so important, love is amazing. And then he starts singing words of love. And then, puts his guitar down, waves to the crowd, and then they go off and be happy. If they did something like that, this pill would have been way easier to swallow, and I would have been like, alright, that's not great, but I'm not upset. The fact that Ellie is dating Gavin, Jack goes on stage, puts her on blast, professes his love in front of all these thousands of people and millions watching at home, I'm sure, because I think they're probably streaming it too. And then the fact that Gavin goes, "Well, I always knew I was second best to you. You guys deserve to be happy," and he doesn't freak out, even though he's been dating Ellie, is one of the most "are you fucking kidding me" sort of moments that I've seen in the movie this year. So, wrapping up here, I'm so torn on this because, like I said, the first hour I went, yeah, this is cool. And that back half, if the movie had gone on another 15 minutes, I probably would have even more disdain for it. I do want to shout out one more guy real quick, Joel Fry, who I wasn't familiar with. I guess he played. I'm gonna butcher this. Hizdar Zolorak on Game of Thrones, apparently. Again, don't watch Game of Thrones. Sorry, but he plays his roadie, Jack's roadie, and he was hilarious. He's a bit of a stoner, kind of a carefree guy. He would belong in a Dazed and Confused remake, but he was so much fun, and he had some really good comedic timing. I'd like to see him in more stuff. So he was another bright spot, but this movie, it's such a mixed bag, and I really think a large part of it is gonna depend on if my qualms with the movie irritate you as much as they irritated me. For me, I was irritated, and I left the theater just kind of going, all right. Yeah, if you want to see a Beatles movie, watch Across the Universe. It's better. If you want to see like a sort of musical, watch Rocket Man. That's still playing places. Like Rocket Man's way better than this. And if you haven't seen A Star Is Born, watch that. Honestly, I would tell someone to watch the unauthorized Bash Brothers Netflix thing before I told someone to go out and watch this. I saw this on like a $5 movie Tuesday. I didn't feel like I was ripped off. If you heard a noise there, that was a way of sneezing. But yeah, this was just, it was disappointing because I expected more and I didn't get more. So I'm gonna give this a C plus. I think if you wait for Netflix, which this will be on, or if you wait for Redbox or HBO, wherever this will end up streaming, I think you'll enjoy it more. But there's no reason for you to go out of your way and go to the theater to see this. This was a bit of a bummer. Like I said, I think Himesh Patel, I think he's got a lot of potential. I'm really curious to see what he does next. And Lily James, like I said, that is modern day Audrey Hepburn. I think she is just beautiful and charming, and her screen presence. She's one of the best people I think acting in Hollywood right now with her range. But yeah, just some of the decisions they made the characters make really did just drag it down for me. So, guys, have you seen Yesterday? What's your favorite Beatles song? I'd actually be curious to get people's thoughts on what their favorite Beatles song is. Oh, and I'll say the last other joke that I did like. He's trying to sing "Hey Jude," Jack is, and you see it in the trailer. There's that line where Ed Sheeran goes, "Hey, I'm gonna give you some advice. Write us, songwriter advice, and this is for free." Instead of "Hey Jude," "Hey Dude," and I was like, "Oh!" Like it made my skin crawl hearing it. I mean, it is played up for laughs, but it's because that's exactly how it would go, right? Like in today's music, they couldn't keep it simple, so. That made me laugh, but yeah, this is a C. This is a C plus for me, and I want it to be more. I really did want it to be more, but yeah, it's disappointing to say the least. As far as my favorite Beatles song, probably be Blackbird. Really enjoy that song. That or Come Together, one of the two. Really love both of those, but. Guys, let us know what you thought of Yesterday in the comments below. You can go ahead and like us on Facebook at TheRealPineapple. You can follow yours truly on the Twitter at JHunterRealPineapple. You can follow Scott on Twitter at Nearmanthefirst. You can follow Colin on Twitter at TheReal, that's the REEL O'Neill. And you can follow us on, go and like, share, subscribe. Follow us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, and Spotify. I think I said SoundCloud, but I'll say it again too. SoundCloud at The Real Pineapple. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Again, I hope you're having a great 4th of July. Do not drink and drive. Be safe. Please be safe. We will have a review up here this Monday at the latest. It'll probably be up before that, but this Monday at the latest on the 8th. Have a review up for Spider-Man Far From Home. That will be a spoiler review, so just be warned. And we'll have a review up as well next week for Stranger Things 3, which I just started last night. Only got through the first episode, but me and Alea and I, pardon me, are very... we love that first episode, so I'm excited to see where the season keeps going. But guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you soon. Happy 4th.